So hi everyone, my name is Shivam Bohra. Welcome to the official channel of CodeChef. So if you want to learn and master data structures and algorithms, or if you want to do really good at competitive programming, then this is a one-stop destination for you. Now before we actually get started, here's a quick reminder for you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already yet. So welcome to this series in which we are going to solve some really fun problems based on sorting and searching. This series is for absolute beginners, and the prerequisite for this course is the basic knowledge of time complexities, sorting and searching, and the basic knowledge of C++ and STL. So if you want to learn any of these, then you'll find links in the description for the video of time complexities, for the playlist of sorting and searching, and for the playlist of C++ and STL. Right? So let's see the first problem of this series. So here this problem statement says that given n numbers a1, a2, a3 and so on till an, simply print the number of distinct elements, right? So we have an array and we simply have to print the number of distinct elements inside this array, right? So let's say I have an array. Let's say the array elements are 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, right? So I have 5 elements over here, right? Now, how many distinct or different values do I have in this array, right? So I have 2, I have 3, and I have 4, right? Other than these three numbers or other than these three values, I do not have any other value inside my array, right? So for this particular case, our output would be 3, right? Because I have 3 different values inside my array. If let's say my array contains 2, 3, and 3. So for this particular case, I only have 2 different values inside my array, 2 and 3. So for this case, our output would be 2, right? And if all the elements inside my array contains the exact same number, so for this case, our output would be 1. Now, before we move on to the constraints part, I assume that you have basic knowledge of time complexities and you are aware about big O notations, right? Now, if you don't know what these two terms are, then don't worry. We do have a separate lecture covering time complexities and big O notations, right? And the link to that lecture is given in the description below, right? So now let's see the constraints for this. So the size of my array n, it could be as big as 10 to the power 5, right? And the array elements, they could be as big as 10 to the power 9, right? So it is given that the size of our array n, it could be as big as 10 to the power 5. So let's say if I have a big O of n approach to solve the problem, then it would roughly take around 10 to the power 5 steps, right? Because n could be as big as 10 to the power 5. If I have a big O of n log n approach to solve this problem, then it would take roughly around 10 to the power 7 steps to solve the problem. And similarly, if I have a big O of n square approach to solve the problem, then it would take around 10 to the power 10 steps, right? To get this number of steps, simply replace this n by 10 to the power 5, right? Now, in general, if any approach takes a maximum of 10 to the power 8 steps or less, then it is completely fine and acceptable. But if it takes 10 to the power 9 steps or more, then it is probably too slow, and if I submit the code for this particular approach, then I might get an error called as TLE, which means that time limit exceeded, and I may not get the full points for submitting the code, right? I may not get the full points for submitting the code. So we should always avoid such an approach which takes 10 to the power 9 steps or more, right? So in this particular case, this third approach takes a maximum of 10 to the power 10 steps. So we should avoid this approach, right? Or we should avoid this time complexity of big of n square. So now let's move on to the approach. So to make things easier, firstly, I would sort this array. So I would sort this array. Also, the time complexity for this sorting is big O of n log n. And in the previous slide, we can see that n log n takes 10 to the power 7 steps. Hence, it is going to be acceptable, right? So, firstly, I would sort these array elements and I'll use a variable count and I'll initialize it to 0, right? This variable would store the number of distinct elements in our array. So initially, I have 0 distinct elements in my array. So firstly, I would point to the very first element inside my array, right? This is 1 over here. 1 is the first distinct element that I have. So I'll change my count from 0 to 1, right? So now I'll simply move to the next element. So over here, I have 2. So is this 2 different from its previous element? The answer is yes. Over here I have 2, over here I have 1. These two are distinct. So again, I'll change my count from 1 to 2, right? And I'll move on to the next element. So is this element different from its previous element? The answer is no. So I'll simply move on to the next element. Is this element different from its previous element? The answer is yes. So I'll change my count from 2 to 3, right? And again, I'll move on to the next element. So is this element different from its previous element? The answer is no. So I'll move on to the next element. This is the end of this array. And by the end of this array, my count has become 3, right? Now, other than the first element inside this array, we are comparing each and every element in this array with its previous element, right? So what I would do is I would simply change my count, or I would simply initialize my count from 1 instead of 0. And instead of iterating from this, I would iterate from this point, right? I would iterate from this point, right? The second number inside my array. And then I would simply compare this element with its previous one. Then I'll move on to the next element. Then I'll simply compare it to its previous one, and so on, right? So this would make the implementation part much more simpler. So now let's move on to the code. So firstly, I'll simply input n, the size of this array. Then I'll create a vector of size n. Then I'll simply store all the array elements inside this vector arr. Then I'll simply sort this vector arr. Then I'll initialize a variable I, because I will now point to the second element of this array, and I'll initialize c equals to 1, because it means that the first element of this array, which we have skipped, it is already the first distinct element of the array, right? Then I'll simply use a loop in which I is less than n. I should go to the very last element of this array. I'll check if arr of I not equals to arr of I minus 1, which means that if this element is different than its previous element, then I'll simply increase the count, right? So I have found another distinct element. And after this if condition, I'll simply move on to the next element. And after this, I'll simply print this count, right? That's complete. So that completes the whole code. So over here, we have the exact same array of size 5, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 different elements, 1, 2, and 3 over here. So if I run this code, so this should print 3, right? So here we can see that our output is 3. So that is it for this video. Like if you understood the concept. In case of any doubts or feedback, do leave them in the comment section below. Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get notified about our upcoming uploads. You can also join our Telegram group. The link is in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.